in opposition to this bill. First of all, I'd like to thank Representative Price and Representative Zemke for all the time that they've invested on the third grade reading bill. In 2013, Michigan was 38th in the nation on fourth grade reading on the national assessment. As a former teacher, I will be the first to say that we must focus our attention on developing strong literacy skills in all students. However, I have a few issues with this bill. HB 4822 has a valid focus on intervention. It's assessment-based, and it has an individualized approach to instruction, which I appreciate. However, we need to take a step back and remember that the average third grader is just 8 years old, and that they can and they will learn to read, but many do so at their own rate. This individual development is not honored in this bill. By retaining students who have not yet achieved this goal based on the prescriptive timeline in this bill, we are doing a great injustice to these children. Schools, with the support of parents, already have the option to retain students if they believe it's in a student's best interest. This is a decision that should be left to the schools, not mandated by the state. Many believe that giving students the gift of an extra year will narrow the gap in their educational deficiencies. However, research results on student retention have been very clear. Grade retention has been associated with many negative outcomes in all areas of student achievement: reading, math, oral and written language, emotional and social adjustment, including peer relationships, self-esteem, problem behaviors, and attendance. Students who are retained are much more likely to drop out of school. In fact, research by the National Association of School Psychologists shows that grade retention is one of the single most powerful predictors of high school dropout, with retained students being 5 to 11 times more likely to drop out. Retained students are also less likely to receive a GED by the age of 20, and further, as adults, these students are more likely to be unemployed or living on public assistance. While there are many good cause exemptions in this bill to avoid retention, including IEPs, limited English proficiency, and previous retention, the fact remains that retention will hit the low-income, at-risk students the hardest. It was estimated that one of my school districts, in which 37% of students qualify for free and reduced lunches, were this bill to pass, 52% of its third grade class would be retained based on their 2013-2014 MEP scores, because of course we don't have the M-STEP scores back yet. This legislation fails to address core issues that would more effectively address the impact of poverty and opportunity for greater success in school, and again, directs resources toward a failure-based model rather than addressing coordination of services and quality early childhood programming. If we truly want to be effective, funding should be targeted for literacy in high-quality early childhood education programs and continue on past the third grade. Additionally, I have concerns about the lack of adequate funding in this proposal, which would place an unnecessary burden on our schools, particularly in those schools that are trying to meet the requirements of a deficit elimination plan. Colleagues, I urge you to vote no on this bill. School districts across the state of Michigan are being asked to embrace data-driven and research-based programs to improve student learning and literacy. We as legislators should allow them to do so by funding those efforts, which are already in place in many schools, and eliminate the one-size-fits-all approach to the development of our children, which is present in this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.